So let's dive into the assumptions and what are the things that we are assuming and what are the things that the feasibility can do for us in under 1 minute. So by the time you finish watching this video, you'll know exactly how to quickly assess properties, and you'll certainly see property opportunities everywhere while you're walking, and that's how this tool has been designed. It can run on your phone. It can do all sorts of things for you. So let's dive straight into it. So here are our assumptions. So we are asking price. Someone's asking for this block of land for 2.1 mil, and we've quickly looked and figured out that we've got 6 units here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it is safe to assume that on a site like this, I should be able to put 6 on this block. But at this stage, I don't know for sure. But I've got to be able to do numbers on it, because certainly the asking price does look like that they're assuming that you should be able to fit 6 on them. So and you do this is an established suburb. It's 20 kilometers from the CBD, and a 3-bedroom townhouses are in the range of 870 960. If I make them a little bit better, for example, if I make them high end or a little bit better appliances and so on, I should be able to get 950, because they say 870 950, but with what the market is, where the market is at, I think 950 would be the actual figure. I believe that I can put 6 into 3-bedroom townhouses on this 280 square meter lot, and let's go from there. So in here, under 1 minute fee though, you can quickly come in, enter your currency symbol. There are more details. If you don't know how to do or what you're doing, just click on this button here, and a video would pop up that will walk you through exactly what you need to do in every screen, so to speak. So let's say you've got currency symbol, you put in your currency symbol. Let's say if you're from another currency, that, for example, you're using a pound symbol or a euro symbol or some other currency, you can change that and it'll change everywhere. You can select your GST, VAT, HST, add the percentage. For example, if you're from New Zealand, you would put 15 over here. Select the type of development. So in our case, it's going to be residential. And interest calculation, I tend to use 30-60. What that basically means is that we are assuming that there are 30 days in a month and 360 days in a year. If you use 3365, it basically means that 30 days a month and 365 days a year. But that would reduce the amount of interest that I would account for in my feasibility. And just to be on a safer side, I tend to use 3360, but it is there. If you know that the year has 365 days, you can select 365 days while you're doing your numbers. So unit of measurement is meter square for us. If it's square feet, I can select something else. And yes, because we're in Australia right now, and this is going to be under the margin scheme, so I can select that. Now, if this is not, let's say you're from US and that doesn't apply to you, all you have to do is come and select NA. And then the whole thing disappears, and you can do your numbers exactly how you would do anywhere else in the world. But let's leave it at GST, because that's where we are at the moment. And under sensitivity, I've allowed about 25%. It's a little bit higher, but I'm going to leave it at 25%. Cost sensitivity and sales sensitivity, what I want to see is that what would happen if my costs jumped up by 5% increments, and what would happen if my sales went down by 5% decrements. What would be the impact on my overall feasibility for this project? So let's go into our units. Units, we know that we can assume. We've basically looked at the site and said, hey, it seems that looking at the neighborhood character, we should be able to put 6 on this block. So I'm going to do numbers on the 6. Average selling price per unit, I'm going to put 950. When I sell it, it would include GST on an average, because I've been building them for so long. I know that a 3-bedroom townhouse, the total built area would be 145 square meters. And when it comes to construction costs, I can use a ballpark number. I could say construction cost per unit. That means I have no idea. I've just made a few phone calls to a builder just to figure out, what does it cost to build a 3 townhouse development. And they've given me a ballpark number, let's say 400K or whatever it is. But in this scenario, I know the numbers, so I'm going to go, okay, I'm going to be able to build them at $2,200 a square meter. I can change that. I can, add a few things. And when I build them, I'll be claiming GST on the input tax credit as well. and I'm going to slap on another 5% contingency on my construction costs, which would also include GST. When it comes to my costs, I know I'm purchasing the land for well, at this stage I'm not purchasing anything. I am keying in what the asking price is in the project. So let's say 2.1 mil, and that won't include GST because it's residential. I'll be paying 5.5% on stamp duty. If I don't know what that is, let's say I can come in here and I can say, okay, my stamp duty is 100K, for example. So I can add that, or I can give it a number, let's say 5.5%, and then select whether or not it has GST or not. Next thing I want to do is allow for some closing costs for settlement. So if I've got a quote from a lawyer that says $2,500 for the legal fees to close the deal, I can put that number here, or I can allow 0.1%, let's say. But of what? Of as a percentage of the land value. So any of these little eyes that you see, if you hover your mouse over it, it'll show you what are you allowing there. So for example, construction contingency that I've allowed here is based on, this is construction contingency. This is based on consultants are based on 6% of the construction cost if I don't know the exact number. Now, because I don't have a permit in hand, which is not ready yet, because I need to go through the development approval process, which is the DA process, or the permitting process, I still need to allow for some percentage to go with. Development contributions, this is as a percentage of the land, or if you have a number in mind that you can find out from your previous projects or a new project, or you can pick up the phone, call the council, find out this is what I'm planning on developing. How are you guys calculating the council contributions for it? Closing costs, commissions, and so on, those will go here. Miscellaneous costs, this is again, if I hover my mouse over the little eye icon here, I'm allowing a $3,000 miscellaneous cost per unit, and all of those would have GST included in them. So next we have finance, and finance is again twofold. One is land finance, which is when I have bought a land, it hasn't got a permit on it. It is going to be 9 months or 12 months or 15 months or whatever the timeline is going to be before I can commence construction, for me to go through the permitting process and get ready with my construction drawings, get ready with everything that I need to commence construction. So that might take 12 months. So right now, all I'm doing is purchasing the land. So if I was to purchase the land, I have to borrow money in order to do that. And that way I can put in 70%, which is the total land debt, against the LVR or LTC, which is the loan to value ratio on the land value, or the loan to cost ratio. I can add a setup fee. These things do not attract GST, but if they do, you can just turn that on or turn it off. So any number that you add here, we assume that it is inclusive of the GST component. So interest rate, for example, is going to be 4%. For this example, is 4%. Let's say for GST, I can turn that on or not. Interest rates do not have, interest costs do not have GST on them, at least not in Australia. So that is why I leave them off. So, but I'm going to allow for 12 months of that time. Then I've got construction debt that's coming in, and I'm basing that total debt on the total development cost of the project. I know that if I've got, if I have $100 in total cost, I should be able to borrow 70%. So I put in 70% as my total debt position for this. A setup fee and the loan draw intensity, we explained what that is, but in a nutshell, remember that you do not draw the entire construction debt on day one. You do that based on your progress claims, based on an S-curve distribution, which is a technical term, where the construction loan is drawn out. It can start off slower, then suddenly shoot up, and then plateau again off. That hence the reason it's called an S-curve. And interest rate, and then we've got a loan duration for the construction period. So this assumes that by, let's say it's 12. But I know that it's going to take me 12 months to build it, but then another 3 months to settle all the pre-sales and get all the money out. So that's why I'm putting in 15% straight away. Remember, this is a 1 minute FISO. This is supposed to give you results within 1 minute. So anytime you're spending more money on this, more time on this, time is money. That means you either don't know what you're doing, or you need to sign up for this and post your project in our forum, so that I can help you out with helping you articulate exactly what you're trying to do and how you can apply that to 1 minute Feasibility or smart feasibility calculator or any of other applications that are coming up. So once you're ready, you go straight into summary, and then you got all the different metrics that are available. There's a link in the description of this video where you can see the published version of this, or you can go to the main blog post where this video is embedded, or you can sign up for 1 minute Feasibility. So if you haven't signed up for it, I highly recommend this. The reason, especially if you are starting out and you got no idea the kind of numbers, the kind of project that you might have to run numbers on, I say start off with the 1 minute Feasibility, because it is like the main feasibility that with all the core components of a feasibility. So I cut my teeth on this thing, but I developed it from scratch. Like I used to have, I had so many different models, been developing applications since 2018 now, and only now that we've tested them thoroughly, we've done everything, and now we decided to move from Google Sheet to our very own platform, which has many different applications, and we are always developing and releasing new ones that cater to a particular scenario. So have a look at this blog post. I explain all the different metrics, what they are. It has everything that you actually need. This is the published version over here. You can go straight there. That shows you, what you allowed, what are the costs for land acquisition, development costs, finance costs. You've got different contingency on construction. What is the contingency included into this project right here? You've got net GST liability. What is that going to be up after the input credits have been claimed? Then we've got a sensitivity analysis that shows you this is what we make. So these are the sensitivity assumptions that we made at the beginning of the feasibility, where we said what would happen if the sales that I have put in were to go up by 5% or go down by 5%. Now it doesn't have to be 5%. 5% is very steep, so to speak. But it can be in increments of 3%, and so does the cost. So if you've allowed something, if you have a 10% cost blowout on a $3 million project, that's $300,000. So you have to remember that, it's that's a lot of money. So that means that's why this is a 1 minute Feasibility. This should give me a very good feel for the project of whether or not I should investigate further, because I'm telling you that it is very hard to do a detailed feasibility for any project, especially when you are not committed to it and you're still looking at it, because you can only go step by step. You can look at a broad stroke feasibility, which is the 1 minute Feasibility. You look at it and you say, hey, this looks like it's good, let's refine it further. And that is what we do for smart feasibility in smart feasibility calculator, which is a one step up. Because and if your project starts and finishes between 24 to 18 months, between 24 to 36 months even, it's smart feasibility calculator is more than enough for what you are planning on doing with the project. Any over that is going to be the lead developer plus, which is a full detailed cash flow scenario and all that, when we'll show you what they are when it is released. And these are all the different sensitivity tables. So have a read through the blog post here, and sign up for Edge and post a reply there. Thanks.